Okay, so the screen is visible to you people.
Yes, ma'am.
I think even I have started with the constructors. Okay. So we have begun with the syntax, or the you can say that what are the programmable concepts that you can use in the JavaScript. Okay. So for using the string and for using the variables, I told you that it is a dynamically typed, and the keyword that is used for declaring the any variable is the var followed by the name of the variable. Correct. So if you use the string, and this way where you are just simply taking only the variable name followed by the value of the string that you are going to store. So this is the shortcut way of using it. By default, it is going to be considered by creating this string with the string constructor itself. So it is as good as writing it as a variable greeting is equal to new string. So here the name string is nothing but the name of the method or the constructor of the string which is used for creating the strings here. So why do you specify it as a method over here is because whenever you are creating this string, you are not only related to the value associated with the string. Apart from that, you also have the various methods that you can use on that string. Right. So the properties or the methods that you can use on the value over this. So let's see what are the different properties here. I think it has been not mentioned here, or you have it later. Okay, so before that, we'll discuss the all the different types of the uh, objects that we can discuss in the JavaScript here. Okay, so the array, and these all objects or whatever the concepts that we are discussing is not at all new only to the JavaScript. All these things has been already used with the other programming languages as well, but the only thing that you need to understand over here is the way how it is, the way in which how it is used, or the method or the syntax what is being used for using all these concepts in your program. Okay, so I may not have to say anything about the arrays here, right? So you already know what is an array. Array is a data structure where you are going to store the values in a particular order, and where you can access the values with respect to the specific index value. So the rest of the meaning, the basic meaning or the purpose of using this data structure remains same as it is done with the other programming languages. Okay, but we'll see how you are going to use it in JavaScript here. Okay, so as usual, the variable is going to be created with the var keyword, and the new operator is required here in order to say that the greetings is going to be created as an object of the which method over here, or else which object over here, right? So since if you use it as string, greetings is considered as an object of the string method. If you use it as an array over here, it is going to be considered as an array object here. Okay, so this is how you are going to create an array, new followed by the a being the capital here array, and with the parenthesis you need to include if you want to simply create the any variable as an array type here. Okay, so how to add the elements over here? There are the two choices or the two ways that you can follow in order to add the elements into the array. So the one method is while creation itself, where you are going to create the array variable, and in within instead of the empty parenthesis, simply you are going to add the element over here, right? So not necessarily to be the only one or the two elements, you can add the as many elements as of your choice, and you can also have the different kinds of the values, that is different data types of the values as a elements to the array here. Okay, so the one more method here is once the greetings has been created as an object of the array, so the next thing you can just take that variable uh, mm, uh, is equal, and with the help of the assignment symbol, and within the square brackets you are going to add the elements. So if you do so, if you use in this method, by default with the help of the square brackets and the elements within that, will be making the greetings as an array variable here with these elements. Okay, so all these things needs to be terminated with a semicolon here. Okay, so now how to access the particular element from an array? It is exactly the same way how you do it with the other programming languages. Okay. So using the alert method, it is just taken as the alert method has been taken here just to display the things. However, you can use the other print statements like document dot write in the JavaScript. Okay. So how to access the particular element, name of the array variable, and within the square bracket the specific index value, just to tell that the which element you want to get into, right? So in case if you want to access the all the elements, so however you always know that the in order to access the all elements from an array, you are going to use the loop. So the best one is the for loop here, and begin with the zero index value until where you need to continue until and unless till the last element of the array which you get it through the length of an array. So the length will give you the total number of the elements in an array. So which tells that the I should be less than the that length. For example, if you have the four elements, so the last index value of the last element will be 3. So that's why I should be the less than of the length of that an array. Okay. So go on printing the each element for the each iteration here. See, by assuming that you already know about these things, I'm just concentrating only on the things that you need to use in JavaScript. I'm not getting into detail that what is an array, what are the elements of the, how you have to access the elements of the array, how you need to print the each element of the array, right? So I'm just brushing up these things with the syntax that you need to follow for this JavaScript here. Okay, so in case somewhere if you feel that you don't know anything or if you are getting confusion over the any of these concepts, please stop me there itself, and you can have the conversation, or you can just tell me that where I need to explain it in detail if you are not understanding somewhere. Okay, so assuming that these all things are very much familiar to you people, I'm just brushing up these things. Okay, so the art is how the elements are stored in the array. So you already know that the all the elements are stored with a specific index value as the first element with the zero index value, and this so on here. So with the help of these index values itself, we will be able to access the elements of the arrays, isn't it? Yeah. So now once if you have created the array, how you can add the further elements to that array? If you want to add the some more elements to the array, how you are going to do that? So that is done with the method known as the push. Okay. So the push is a method which will tell that the whatever the value that you are going to pass to this method needs to be added at the end of an array. So by default, this value is going to be added at the end of the array with the existing content. So suppose earlier if you had the only the good morning and the good afternoon, and after that if you perform the push operation on that array variable with the value, so that value is going to be added at the end of the array here. Correct. Okay, so in case if you want to remove the element from the last, so at that time you can go for using the pop element. So when you use the pop method on the array variable, in that case it is going to delete the last element of an array. So similarly, you have the other methods that you can use on the array here. So concat is a method which is used to combine the two arrays, or else you can combine the one array with the another array with the more number of the elements. So which is going to give you the new array here. It is not going to modify the existing array. Instead, you can create the new array by combining the elements of the two arrays. Okay. So slice is a method which is used to divide an array, or else you can get the sub array of from the parent array. So if you want to create the another sub array by taking only the few elements from the parent array, you can go for using the slice method. Okay. So join in the sense this method is used to join the elements of an array. Do not get confused. Join element is not used for joining the two arrays. Instead, the join element is used to join the elements within an array with some separator over there. For example, here in this case, if you want to join all these elements separated by the star in between, you can go for using the join method, that is good morning star, good afternoon star, and good evening, right? So reverse in the sense it is going to reverse the order of the array. And shift, what does the shift is going to do? If you use the pop method, it is going to remove the last element, and if you go for using the shift method, it is going to remove the elements from the beginning index value, that is from the left hand side. It is going to remove the one element from the left hand side if you use the shift method on the array. Sort in the sense if you have the array elements, the numeric values into the array element, it is going to sort into the, by default it is going to sort in a ascending order, and if you are having the string values, it is going to sort according to the alphabetical order. Okay. See, why I'm telling all these things is, actually this question, the array methods on the arrays with the earlier syllabus, that is the, with the scheme with the previous 2 years, the most frequent, this was the most frequently asked question. But with your syllabus, I don't know whether it is going to be asked or not. Why? Because much detail has been not mentioned in your book, only very brief introduction has been given over there. But even though you at least try to know the meaning of the each methods here, so that even if it has been asked in your examination, at least you should be able to explain it with an example over there. Okay, so these almost all these methods already have studied using the, in the Python itself. The same thing has been replicated here. So just try to remember the methods that are applicable with the arrays in the JavaScript. So similarly, you have the one more object known as the math. So which is the object that is mostly available with the all the programming language, right? So you have the n number of the methods or the n number of the functions that you want to use with the math, right? So one such example, the name of the object is a math, where m being a capital over here, and you can see the what are the various methods that are being supported by this math object here. So max method to identify the maximum value among the numbers. Min is used to identify the minimum value. Power is used for calculating the power of the two values. As usual, the square root used is used to calculate the square root of a number, and this is the exponential, sine, cos, and the tan. So all these are the mathematical methods. All the mathematical methods that you usually calculate using the scientific calculator can be done using the math object in this JavaScript here. Okay, so once a few examples has been given here, just to tell you that how you can use them. So as with the array, you can directly use it on the data structure, and here if you want to use the math of any methods of the associated with the math object, you are supposed to use it with the math name followed by the dot notation and the method which you want to use here. So in case of the pi, it is going to, instead of taking it as a 3.14 directly into your program, you can just take it as a math.py, which will give you this value, the pi value. And in case if you want to find out the square root of the any number, how you have to use it, math.sqrt is the name of the method, and within the parenthesis you have to pass the value for which you want to calculate the square root. And math.random is the method which is going to generate the random number between the 0 and 1. Okay, so these are the few examples that has been given, and not restricted that these are the only methods that are available with the math object. So you have the n number of the methods. Okay. So followed to the string, which we have already discussed, and we'll see what are the different methods that you can use with the string. String also have the several methods that you can use for the one or the other purpose. Okay, so once you have created the string of the string object and certain value, so if you wish to get the length of that string, that is the total number of the characters within that string, the method that is used is variable name, the string variable name dot the name of the method is length. So this is going to give you the length of that string. So even with the array also, if you use it as a dot length on the array object, so there it is going to give you the total number of the elements in an array. But suppose if you use this method on a string variable, it will give you the total number of the characters here. Okay. So follow to the concat method once again being used here. You can also use this concat on the array also to concat the two strings. Here in string, you can use the concat method to concatenate the two string values. For example, in earlier case, you can see here, greet is a variable which have the string as only good. And here if you use it as a greet dot concat with morning, that means good is going to be joined with the morning here. So it is as good as saying that greet plus morning, which is going to give you the result as a good morning over there. Okay. So few more methods that you can use on this string is char at. So char at, in the sense, it is going to take the index value as a parameter to this method. So on the string object, so if you use this method, you have to pass the index value, which will give you the which character is present at that particular index value. So for example, if you consider only the morning as a string here, and if I pass the 2 as a value to this method. So it will give you the 0, 1 and 2. So R as a result for this method. So char at of 2 with this respect to with this string is, it is going to give you the result as a R. So I hope you know that even the strings are also going to be stored with a specific index value. Again with beginning with the 0 to the n value, n minus 1, isn't it? So in that case, char at in the sense it is going to get you the character at a specific index value. So in contrast to this caret, searching for the one using the index of. So to this, you can pass the particular character as a parameter to this method, which is going to give you the get the result of the index value. For example, in as we did with this string itself. So if I pass it as an index of r, so I need to pass a character as a parameter to this method. If I pass it as a r, so it is going to give you the specific index value 0, 1 and 2. So the 2 will be the result of this method here. Okay. So similarly, you can use the split method in order to get the substring. You can go for using the search method to search a particular character, and you can use the match method to match with either the substring or a character within the string. So these all are the few methods that you can use with the string method, a string object here. Okay. So coming to the next object that you can use here is the date object. So how to create the variable of a date object is again variable d and new operator followed by the name of the method over here is the date. So that means d is going to be created as a date object. So you need not have to separately, if you use that with a today date is, so you can, if you directly use only this variable to be print, it is going to get the current date with respect to the calendar of your system. So wherever you are executing, the current date associated with that system is going to be printed. And if you want to print it with a string, particular string, you have to convert it into the string by using the toString method here. Okay. So you don't have the much of the functionalities with the date. It is either used to get the complete date, or else you can stick to the year, month, or only the day or the week. Okay. So I hope these whatever I have discussed in very short or in a brief, it is clear to you people. So is there any case that you have not understood at somewhere right from the arrays math string on the date? So I hope it is clear to you people. Okay, so quickly I have brushed up. So if you have not understood the at any point, please let me know so that I can discuss it once again. Okay. So assuming that you have understood, I am going to move further over here. The document object model, so which is the most important thing that you need to get practiced if you want to say that you are perfect in writing the javascript part within the html. So you, this is the concept that you need to concentrate more in order to get to know that the how you can access the elements of the html into the javascript. So because the javascript is a completely different platform as compared to the html, and if you are going to combine these two within a single file or else within the different file also, you should be able to access the contents of the html into this javascript section. So how it is done? It is done with a concept known as the document object model, which is said to be as the dom here. Okay. So to begin with, we'll have a little theory discussion just to make you clear that what is the document object model here. Okay. So JavaScript is almost always used to interact with the HTML document in which it is contained. So it is obvious, right? So when you say that you are writing a JavaScript part for the HTML, so for what purpose you are writing the JavaScript? It is meant to do something with the content of the HTML, right? So that's the reason why you are writing the JavaScript. And how it is done? It is done through a programming interface called known as the document object model. So basically, you can say that the document object model is an interface, or you can say that it is an link between the HTML and the JavaScript. Okay. So, I think you are very much familiar with this structure now. By this time, you already know that the what is the basic structure of the HTML, right? So, this is how whenever you write the program, see, this is the program that you write. Don't worry about the contents that has been included here. just try to understand that this is an example of the HTML here. So it is a random example of the HTML. And when you say that you want to just link this an HTML to the uh, JavaScript, there should be a some interface between these two, right? So how the JavaScript will be able to interact with this HTML part? So it is going to be done with a tree structure that is going to be constructed by the DOM here. So now what is a tree structure? It is very simple. All the elements that you have taken is going to be arranged in a hierarchical way, right from the document till the last sibling elements, the last child element over here. So this thing already you know that you begin with a document, you begin with the HTML, and within the HTML you know that you have the head and the body, and again within the head you have the meta and title, and within the body you have the so many elements along with the other child elements within that. So this is how the tree structure that can be constructed with the any HTML page, and this is going to be helpful for the JavaScript to get interacted, and which is known as a tree structure here. Okay. So now how does the document object model is going to get to know that it has to interact with these tree structures, and it has its own terminology named as the element nodes, text nodes, and the attribute nodes. See, again, these are not at all anything new over here. So whatever you say it here as an element, so these all are the elements, right? So the meta, head, HTML, whatever you have used, these all are the elements and attributes that you have used within the each element. So if it is required to be used for the any attributes within the any element, that are named as the attributes, right? So the same names, whatever has been used as a HTML, that has been added with the one more terminology known as a nodes here. So elements are considered as the element nodes, attributes are considered as the attribute nodes, child are considered as the child nodes, and if you say the any of the sibling elements, that are considered as the sibling nodes, and if you have the parent element, that is considered as the parent node. So node terminology has been added by the DOM, which is specific for the JavaScript over here. Okay, so you can see here in DOM, the each element within the HTML document is called as a node. If the DOM is a tree, then each node is an individual branch over there. So they have been categorized as the element nodes, text nodes in the sense the actual content that you have added here. For example, for the labeling a link, you have taken here it as a central park, and this paragraph have a text as a easy on HTR buddy, right? So this is a text. So even the text which is going to be displayed on the HTML are considered as the text nodes here. So as usual, if any of the elements have the attributes, that are considered as the attribute nodes here. So all the nodes in the DOM share a common set of the properties and the methods. So no matter whichever the part of the HTML that you want to access from the HTML into the JavaScript, all these nodes. So I hope now you are familiar with the word node. No, if I use the nodes in the explanation, it is not at all new thing over here. So the all the each section of the HTML, no matter what is it is a text or the name of the element or the attribute, everything, so that is considered as with the specific word as a node over there. Okay, so is it okay if I use a node as a terminology from now onwards to explain you the things? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So whichever the part of the section or whichever the node that you consider from this HTML part, each of these node have to share a some set of the properties and the methods which is helpful for the JavaScript accessing over there. Okay, so we'll see what are those and how you can access over there, right? So we'll consider a very simple example just to tell you that again the meaning of the element node or the attribute node here. Okay, so in this, you can see a paragraph element is there, and within the paragraph element, we have a child element as a anchor element with the attribute as a H reference and the text as the central node. So this is how the document object model is going to be constructed for this part of the HTML here. So P is a element, so that is considered as the element node, and photo of conservatory pond in. So this is a text. This is not an element or the not the attribute. It is simply the text that is going to be displayed on the screen. So that is considered as the text node here. Followed by the this is the child node again, which is also the element node. and followed by it has a one attribute which is considered as the attribute node, and the central park is a label of that link which is again considered here as a text node. Okay. So these are the properties that is associated with the any document object that you construct for the HTML. Okay, so all the things will be associated with these properties. So the name itself tells what does that property means over here. If you want to access a specific attribute with the any element, it is accessed with the attribute property. See why these properties are used, or for what purpose these properties are used here is whenever you are writing the any JavaScript part for the HTML, and you should be in a position that through that JavaScript you should be able to access the contents of the HTML. And how is it possible? It is possible with these properties. So if you want to access, or if you want to get any particular attribute from the element, you have to get it through the property attribute. And if you want to get the all the child nodes for the any particular parent element, in that case you can go for using the child node properties. And if you are interested in only the first child of the any parent node, in that case you can go for the first child property. And similarly, if we are interested in only in the last child, you can go for using the last child property. And whenever you have started accessing, if you are interested to get the next sibling node, at that time you can go for using this property. And if you want to access the content of the HTML by the node name, directly by the node name, you can go for using this property as a node name. And similarly, if you want to access it by the type, if you have used the type attribute within that element, you can access the element with the node type property. And similarly, the node value, parent node, and the previous sibling. Okay, so do not worry, we'll get once we discuss few examples on the this JavaScript, you'll get to know what are these properties and how you need to use it, and how does it is going to help you to get the contents from the HTML to the JavaScript. Okay. So first I'll go through the all the theory concepts that you have that you need to know, and then we'll discuss the few examples just to demonstrate you that what is the way to what is the way of creating the JavaScript in order to access the contents from the HTML. Okay. So now, what is the way or what is the syntax that you need to use in order to get the contents from the HTML into the JavaScript here? Okay. So for doing that, you require the document object, and it is the root JavaScript object representing the entire HTML document. Suppose if you say that you have created an object of the document, it is going to be pointing to the root of the entire HTML. And it contains some properties and methods that we will use extensively in our development and is globally accessible as a document. Okay, so we'll see with an example now. You can see here we have created the a as a variable, but of what type? You can see how to create. The name of the object is document dot doc type dot name. So this is going to create the document object which is going to point to the root of the HTML page. Okay. So one more example is document dot input encoding. If you want to point it for the encoding part which you have used it in the meta element at the head section, you are going to point it as a document dot input encoding. So these are not that much frequently used in the JavaScript, but just to show you that how you can begin using the document object in order to access the elements, this is the way how you are going to use it. Okay, so here there are the few more methods. These are the properties. You do not get confused with the methods and the properties here. So the properties are the one where you can access the contents. Methods are the one where you can do something with the HTML through the JavaScript. So once you have created the HTML document, and if you want to modify that HTML document with the help of the JavaScript control, you can do it with these methods here. So the what are the different methods that you can use here is create attribute. So if you want to create the some more attributes without actually adding directly into the HTML, if you want to modify it with some action by the JavaScript, you can do it by using the create attribute method. And if you want to create the element, if suppose if you want to add the some more elements without adding actually into the HTML, and if you want to do it with some action from the JavaScript, you can go for doing it as a create element by the method create element, and create the text node to add the text, and create the element by id. With if you want to create the element with a specific id, you can sorry, get element by id. That's simply, sorry, the method is get element by id. So once you have created the element, and if you want to access that element into the javascript, the method that you require here is the get element by id. And if you want to access the element by the tag name, you can go for using the get element by tag name method here. Okay, so we'll see these with few examples here, and we'll discuss these examples, and meanwhile we'll try to execute the few examples to make you clear. Okay, so concentrate on this example. This is the html part here. So you can see here, you have started with the body, and you can see here we have the certain elements, and in the elements itself we are going to use the id as a attribute. So which is helpful, this attribute is going to be helpful for the javascript to access the elements. Okay, not necessarily to have the every element. So wherever you want that particular element to be accessed through the javascript, there you can go for using the id attribute with the some value over here. So the value can be anything to the id in a string form. Okay, so we have the division element with the id attribute with the value as a latest comment, followed by the two children to this paragraph, and one more division is over here again, which has the two children to it, and later that you have the end of the this html part here. Okay, so to this, if you are going to write the javascript, and if you want to access the contents of it, this is how you are going to do this. This is just an example to tell you how you can begin writing the javascript part here. Okay, so you can see here the variable has been created, but how to use it? So as I told you, these all methods whatever we have discussed so far, these all methods or the properties that we have discussed so far is associated with the document object itself. Correct. So document dot get element by id. Right. So you need to begin by creating or by using the main object as a document. This should be the mandatory, followed by the dot, and followed by the name of the method which you want to use here. So get element by id. So which element you want to access the element with the specific id. So to this method you need to pass the parameter which id you want to access. That is, suppose in your entire html, if you have the more number of the elements with the different id values over there, so in that case you have to specify the value of the id which you want to access. In this case we have only one, which is the latest comment that we have taken here. Okay, so that means this abc is going to point to this entire division element here. Okay, so along with its children, and is going to point to this element here. Correct. Okay, so in the next case we can see here, we have used the another method without the id here. So in that case you can see here variable list is equal to document dot get elements by tag name. So by tag name, in the sense it is going to point to the particular element with that particular element with the name. That means if the more number of the elements are present with the same name, it is going to point to the all the elements over here. So that means it is going to create a list of the all the elements with the parameter whatever you are passing here for this method get elements by tag name. So in this case you can see a document dot get elements by tag name of division. So that means in this entire section html section you have the how many division elements? You have the two division elements. It is going to consist the two division elements along with its four children here. Correct. Okay, this is how you need to use the methods on this html section. These are these two statements are the part of the javascript, right? So these two statements you need to write in a javascript in order to get access to the contents of the html section. Okay. Okay, so the again here are the some of the properties. Few more properties has been given here to tell that how you will be able to access the every individual detail of the each element here. Right. So class name, in the sense it is going to get you the current value for the class attribute, and id in the sense the current value for the id of that element. The value of the id inner html means represents the all the things inside the tags. Okay, so inner HTML is going to get you the get the each of the every section from the HTML right from the attribute to its actual content over there. Okay. So style property means whenever you want to modify or whenever you want to apply the styles to the any of the HTML element through the JavaScript, you can go for using the style property. So however, you can apply the styles using the CSS by the style elements itself. But in case through the interaction, user interaction, if you want to make some changes to the styles, or if you want to make something style to be appeared based upon the user interaction, at that time you can go for using the style property, which is used in the JavaScript to apply the styles or to change the style from the HTML section. Okay. So last one is the tag name, which is used to get the tag name over there. Okay. So here is an example. You can see what is done here. So you can see here, assuming with the previous example itself, this one, assuming with this HTML section itself, we have written this example here. So in this, you can see here, the latest is a variable which is going to point to the HTML document, and it has to point to the get element by ID with the latest comment as a value. That means to this division section, it is going to point here. And later we'll see what is done here. We are accessing with the contents of that element now. So just remember that within the division element we have the two children over there, right? So we are trying to access the old message is equal to latest, in the sense this variable dot inner HTML. So inner HTML means it is going to point to the rest of the elements within that division element. That means we have the two paragraph elements over there, right? So later what we have done here, we can see here latest dot inner HTML is the value that we want to change. So we just want to concatenate the one more element here. So this is the one of the way how you can add the one more element through the JavaScript into the HTML section. So along with this two paragraph elements, I just want to add the one more paragraph element through the JavaScript. And how it is done here, so by accessing the inner HTML and along with concatenating with the earlier existing message, I am concatenating the one more element here. So directly take the HTML part of the code into the string to be concatenated with the old message. So this entire statement is going to add this one more paragraph with the these two paragraphs over there. Okay, so the I hope is it clear? Is it? I Let me know whether you are following or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so coming to the one more example over here, so you can see the same thing has been done here. So instead of adding something, we are just removing the some elements from it. So you can see here with the latest dot remove child, so it is going to remove latest dot first child. It is we are passing this property over there to this method, that is in order to remove the first child, that is the first paragraph will be removed, right? So the next thing is append child is a method which is used to add the one more content, that is the create text node with the new message here. So what is the new message here? So the new message is this updated with this div. Okay, so we'll see with an example now. Once I show you the example, that will make you more clear. So you can see here within this HTML section, we have started with the head section, and within the head section, we are written the JavaScript part of the code here. Okay, so with the help of the script element, and within the script element, so whatever this section, this entire section, whatever we have written within the script section is considered as the JavaScript part here. Okay, so this entire part is the JavaScript part that we have written in the embedded level of coding here. So that means we have just included the JavaScript in the part of the head section within the same HTML page here, right? So what we have done as a part of the JavaScript part here, we'll see here, we have defined the one function here with the name. So in the last class itself, I have discussed how you can write the your own user defined function here. So begin with using the keyword function and followed by the any name function, and if it is not accepting any parameter, simply use the empty parenthesis here. And within the body, what we have done here, you can see here, you have to just take the document as the object followed by the dot, and we are interested in the particular element, and that too with specific id here. So you can say a get element by id. See, one more thing that you need to take care over here is these are the methods which needs to be used exactly in the same way here. That means the E should be capital here, and this B should be capital, and I should be capital. If you, it is a case sensitive here, and if you make mistake with the case sensitivity, you will get an error over there. Okay, so be careful while using these methods. They needs to be used exactly the way how they are defined by the W3C here. Okay. So we are interested in a particular element with the ID value as the my H1. And with this, once you get that ID, what we are interested is we want to apply some style to that. So when you are able to access this particular element with this id, we want to apply some style. How to do that? You can see a dot style. These two are the properties. See, do not get confused over here. This is a method associated with the particular element, and these two are the properties with the methods what you want to do. Okay, so what I want to do once I access, whenever you access the any section of the html, there may be a thing that you want to do something with that element. So you want to do, I want to apply a style. So that's why it has been taken as a dot style. And with the dot, which style or what you want to apply. So style means you have the n number of the styles that you know, right? So I just want to apply a color which is specified again with a dot notation followed by the color, and with equal to symbol you need to specify the color either in the directly with the name of the color, or else you can just take it as a hexadecimal notation, or whichever the value that you are comfortable. Okay, so end it with a semicolon and end the function here and end the script. So this is the only javascript part that I have included. So what does it tells? It tells, this script tells that once you execute, so whenever you want to execute the javascript part of it, it is going to access the, or it is going to point to the element with this value my h1, and once it is able to access that element, it is going to apply the style with the color as a red mode. Okay, now we'll see what we have done in the body section here. And within the body section, you can see here h1 is the element that we have defined with the id my h1. So id is the attribute that you can use to the any element of your choice. There is no such restriction that id has to be used to the particular, only to the particular elements. You can use it to the any element within the body section wherever you want the javascript to be applied there, right? So I wish that I want this javascript to be applied to the h1. The value of the id I have taken exactly the same which I have taken here. These needs to be the same here. And I have just simply just taken the text as a how to change the style of the color and close that element, and run the paragraph. Okay, so if you define only in this way, right? So if you define only in this way, by taking the script part and just by taking the id, probably nothing is going to be changed. When you run this program, you'll not able to find the any difference in the execution over there. Right. So in that case, as in the beginning only, I told you that JavaScripts are written to make the web pages interactive. That means whenever the user is going to interact, at that time, you are going to tell that what needs to be done. Right. So since you have written the function over here, that this is said to be as the function called function that you have written. There should be some part of the code in the body section to tell that when this particular function needs to be executed. That means you need to call this function, right? So since you have written it as a part of the function, there should be something in the body section to tell that when this particular function needs to be executed. So that is probably done with the user interaction. That is the most purpose of using the JavaScript in the HTML section, right? So in this case, you can see here, we have taken a button element to be in the body section to create a button. And what you are telling here, you are telling on click method. That means whenever the user is going to click it, what needs to be done. So on click is equal to my function. So that means when the user is going to click it, this function of the JavaScript needs to be executed. Okay, so the label for that button, what is mentioned over there is try it, and we have closed that button. So basically what this entire part of the code is going to do is it is going to create this as a part of the uh, web page, and it is going to provide a button. And once the user is going to click, since we have taken the method, or we have taken the property of this button as a on click, that means you are telling that when the user is going to click it, in the some function needs to be executed. And what should be the value to this on click is the name of the function which you want to execute once the user is going to click it. Okay, so once the user is going to click that button, the execution will be passed to this my function, and this gets executed to apply the style over there. Okay, so let's run this example and we'll see. Is it visible here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can see here we have a header text, that is how to change the style of the color. Click the button to add the color to the h1 element. Okay, so if I click on this, are you able to see the change in the color?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is how it is done. It is done with the scripting part. It is done with the scripting part and linking it to the HTML section. This is a very simple example that I have demonstrated you, just to tell you that how you'll be able to access the elements of the HTML and what you can do with that changes over there. Okay, so we'll see the few more examples here. So with the help of the class name, we'll see the different ways how you can access the values and the different properties here. Okay, so you can see here within this doc type we have taken the style element, and with as a class selector we have seen we have defined the so many styles to be applied here. Okay, I'm not going to discuss these styles. So my style is a one of the style that we have defined to apply all these properties of the styles over there. Okay, so once we have closed the style, we have started with the scripting part here, and again in the scripting part we have taken a function to be defined, and within that function what we have done, we are interested to get the element with a specific id. But what we are interested is we just want to a- add this class name as a property to the my style. Okay, so to the element wherever you access with this id, that needs to be added with the class name as a my style here. So the my style is the one we have defined here. This needs to be applied, this set entire set needs to be applied to the class name over there. So how it is done we'll see in the body section. And where do we have to this division section, you can see here the id attribute is over there. So to this the class name will be added with the my style over there. That means this entire class, the style properties or the style class will be applied to this division once this function gets executed. Now we have to think that when this function needs to be executed, again we have taken the button element with some label to it, and once we click on that, it is just going to execute this function, and with the help of this property, it is going to be this element is going to be applied with the this value there. My style is the one which we have defined it here. Okay, so I'll just run this. So here you can see the information on this web page, and we have not at all applied initially. If you execute it, none of the styles will be applied over here. So when the styles will be applied only when you run the javascript part, and when the function of the javascript is going to be executed, you have linked it to the one button. So based upon the clicking, it is going to be applied. So if I click on that, you can see here the style whatever has been defined for that section is applied here. Okay, so similarly there is a one more example over here where we have added the some child to it, or the some element to it through the javascript here. Okay, so earlier you can see in the body section what all the elements that we have the only two elements, the paragraph element and the button element, right? So what we are interested now, we are interested that based upon clicking this button, we want to add the one more element to the HTML here. Okay, so one more element to the HTML. So how it is done, you can see here. You are taking a variable through which you want to create the element. So here we are not getting any element. Instead, we are just using the method known as the create element, and to this parameter you need to take the name of the element that you want to create here. Okay, so I want to create the button as the element over here, and how it is done and where you need to create needs to be specified once again after this statement here. Okay, so you can see here a document dot body, in the sense I want to create within the body section, and where it needs to be positioned, it has to be positioned as the append child, in the sense already you have the some elements within the body section, right? So you have the p button, and after this I want to append it. So append, in the sense it is going to add to the end position of that body section. So that means what I want to append, I want to append the this btn variable through which we have created the element known as the button here. Okay, so how, when this function needs to be executed, again on based on some user interaction here. Okay, so for which again the another button has been taken here. Okay, so you can see here it has the only text and this button, and once I click on this, are you able to see this small button? So it is and the size of this button is very small because we have not labeled anything to it, so since it is taking only the clickable button here. Okay, so this is a very simple example. However, you can take the other elements as well, and you can experiment that how you can best access the elements of the html section, and you can write the specific function to be executed to perform some action through the javascript into this html section based upon the user interaction over there. Okay, is it clear? See, what I want you people to try on is, I want you people to try with the other methods and the other properties to try to make the changes through the JavaScript based on the some interaction. So, however, we have this few more concepts on the JavaScript events and the forms to demonstrate you that how you can provide the interaction with the help of these events and the forms. But till then, I just want you to experiment with a few more examples. You will get the plenty of the examples in the internet. I just want you to try it by your own. Okay. So, is it clear whatever we have discussed till now? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone of you have any doubt here?